morning and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Regional News. A cargo vessel grounded off Manus Island is said to be leaking hydrocarbons into the waters of the Chaguaramas Basins, raising fears of environmental damage and threat to livelihoods. The vessel carrying a load of bricks reportedly ran aground early Tuesday morning after its cargo shifted, destabilizing the ship. Environmental group Fishermen and Friends of the Sea, FFOS, has issued an urgent call for state agencies to activate a national oil spill contingency plan. They warned that hydrocarbons are leaking from the ship's bottom into surrounding waters. FFOS said there were no breaches in the hull and salvage efforts are underway to refloat the ship. However, they stated that marine ecosystems and fishing communities in the Gulf of Paria remain at risk. A U.S. appeals court on Tuesday temporarily paused a judge's ruling holding that hundreds of Venezuelans the Trump administration deported to El Salvador under the 18th century wartime law must be given the chance to challenge their detentions. A three-judge panel of the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia Circuit issued an administrative stay to give itself more time to consider an appeal filed by the government early on Tuesday. Washington-based U.S. District Judge James Boasberg on June 4 also ruled that the Trump administration must facilitate the legal challenges, ordering the government to bring the Venezuelan migrants currently being held at a mega prison in El Salvador back to the U.S. The Venezuelans were deported in March after President Donald Trump, a Republican, invoked the 1798 Alien Enemies Act. Former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro denied that he led an attempt to overthrow the government after losing the 2022 election during his trial before the country's Supreme Court yesterday, but acknowledged taking part in meetings aimed at reversing the outcome. Bolsonaro said he and senior aides discussed alternatives to accepting the electoral results, including the possibility of deploying military forces and suspending some civil liberties. But he said those proposals were soon dropped. In March, the Supreme Court agreed to hear the case against Bolsonaro and 7 other people, including several military officers who were charged with plotting a coup to stop Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva from taking office in January 2023. The charges stem from a 2-year police investigation into the election, denying movement that culminated in riots by Bolsonaro supporters in the capital in early 2023, a week after Lula took office. Bolsonaro, who was the 6th defendant to testify in the case, spent several minutes of his 2 hours of testimony defending its administration's achievements and its criticism of the country's electoral system. Thank you for watching. I am Tiana Cole.